Hi there, it's Peaches here, and welcome to our second episode with our guest Dingo Fox.
Hello, everybody. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. I'm just chilling, really. Even
Yeah,
though
I
it's
know.
like 5 in the morning.
Well, it's all this COVID stuff too. I mean,
Yeah,
we can't suit, we can't go out in public, we can't do our things that we normally do within the fandom, and so pretty much this year has been nothing but a turmoil.
yeah, and our topic today is about fursuit washing. And what's your opinions on this topic?
Well, my opinion is be careful when you're washing your suit because there are a lot of different ways you can wash a suit depending upon what type of suit you have.
Yeah,
For instance, if you have a fox suit, the first thing you want to be careful of is the ears. Because if you flatten the ears or damage the foam in the ears, you can actually really have an issue of trying to get them to go back up where they're supposed to be at. This is why usually I just recommend, hand washing the ears, hand washing the head, taking a blow dryer with no heat. And I mean no heat, just air dry. You just flip the little switch on the side of the thing and turn the heat off. And it works great for that because then you're just air drying it and you're not going to put any heat on it, which won't warp your fur, which won't melt your fur. In my case, my largest issue has been with like Zoot Suit Bunny here because of the fact that Zoot Suit Bunny has flop ears. And the stitching along here is what I got to watch out for because if I'm not careful, I could actually lose my ear because of how this is stitched and attached to his head. So he definitely has to be hand washed with the ears and with the head itself. And then there are things like if I have to touch up eyes, I have paint pens for that. And, normal stuff I carry with me. And it's really easy, just maintenance stuff. I've had cases where I've seen people that don't wash their suit, and that didn't end well. We had an individual at a non-furry convention, at just a regular anime convention,
yeah.
and his suit was just so foul smelling that people would go up to him thinking, "Oh, cool, cool fox. Can I get a hug? Can I get a picture?" And the photographers would basically hug him, get a picture, and then go run for a trash can to throw up.
So it
Because,
basically smells like a landfill.
yeah, the basic expression I got from one guy is the guy smells like rotting flesh, and that's horrible in
Yeah.
itself. And it's like I thought they were joking too, and I even went to go give him a hug just to see if they were telling the truth. No, that guy flat out stunk. There was a large difference from I smell good to oh my god, I'm gonna go puke.
Yeah, I mean, with my suit head, the ears originally was pretty much just not even sewn to the head base.
Yeah, and
And
sometimes
because
they aren't.
the problem I have with my old head, which is why I'm building a new one, is it's starting to show its age with the foam on it. So foam has started to yellow and it's started to crack in places, which
Yeah,
isn't fixable.
yeah, and that happens, or you end up with if they've used the wrong foam to build the head, you end up with foam rot. And foam rot actually isn't because you washed the head. It's basically what happens is over the years, foam naturally breaks down because it's exposed to your sweat, it's exposed to the elements when you're out fursuiting in public. And so eventually that foam does deteriorate and you will have to repair your head. And sometimes it's better just to take the rotten foam off and repair your head, or just rebuild the front of your muzzle or your bunny mouth or fox mouth or whatever your fursuit
Yeah.
has. And it's a given. It's just standard maintenance at that point in time. And that's the fun thing is that standard maintenance is a lot of things that we kind of do eventually let slide
Yeah.
just a little too much.
And because of how it was constructed, that's why I've had to completely rebuild the whole head on the inside.
Yeah, yeah, because if you don't have it constructed right, it doesn't turn out right. I've had people that went on Etsy to get fursuit heads, and there are some great and amazing people that do make beautiful fursuit heads on Etsy. But then there are the people that really don't have the experience making them yet, and you get some pretty interesting experiences. One of my friends had a fursuit head that showed up that was literally 4 times too small.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anybody's fault there. It's that the maker was from a different country. She didn't understand the measurements. She thought that it was the kid size that he ordered and not the adult size, and she made it like a kid size. And so it happens. That's why you have good communication always with your maker, always with the person who's making your suit, because at the end of the day, you're really going to be wearing something that they have built, that they have put their mind, heart, and soul into. And it's just incredible when you get to truly hold that in your hands and see what
Yeah.
they've done.
And because of how poorly made it was, there's a reason why I can't recommend the maker, because essentially it was pretty much a rip-off because it was like quite badly made. So it was made on the cheap, and to put how cheap it was, like the body, the full body part, and that as soon as I got that on, the zip snapped. As soon as I tried it on, the zip broke. So I
Yeah,
needed a new zip, and I needed the shoulders completely rebuilding.
yeah, that does happen. See, when I first got my current persona that I am working on, which is Aquarius Dragon, I knew wasn't finished when I got him, and I really knew that he was going to be a nightmare to finish because the maker that was making him couldn't figure out how to finish him either. And I totally get that, but I got him for such a wonderful price. I was just like, I'll finish it. I'll try anything. I built feet. I built my own paws. I've repaired Dingo Fox multiple times, and I was just like, cool. I'll take up the challenge. When Aquarius arrived, that was interesting because I was so happy to unbox it, but wow, when I literally saw that there were 96 pins in the thing holding the head together, I realized I was in for a challenge.
Yeah. And
And
then regarding with cleaning fursuit, what would you say is the best way to wash and keep clean a fursuit?
I would actually go and get they make these wonderful plastic storage lockers that you can actually pick up at your local Walmart, Target. I recommend picking up one of those with a good set of wheels on them. And the first thing I recommend doing is taking your fursuit spray that you've got that you use, whether it's bubblegum scented, blueberry, peppermint, pineapple, whatever lovely scent that you like to use in your fursuit spray. Spray a little bit on a rag and wipe down the inside of the container. And the reason this works so great is it gets rid of that plastic smell inside those containers, and you can literally put your suit in there, and when you go to pull your suit out, it will smell exactly like your spray. It's a wonderful option to do, and that's a great way to keep your suit clean, the smell nice on your suit so that you don't stink. When you go to wash a suit, hand wash. hand wash, hand wash, hand wash. Because the first time you throw a suit head into a dryer, it's not going to end well. Because
Yeah.
it's not the washer that's going to tear your head apart, it's the dryer that's going to beat it into pieces.
I mean, with my suit, I usually, after a con or so, put it in the washing machine because most of it does go in the washing machine, except for the head and tail because the
Yeah.
tail probably would go mouldy, I guess. But I usually put the main body part in, and the rest of it's usually hand washed. And
Yeah.
what's nice about doing that is, as I found out with mine, is you can use non-bio washing up stuff. So you
Yep.
can use the non-bio cold stuff, which is usually ideal for your suit. The
Correct.
only downside I know with washing it is when it comes to drying, how I dry it is I normally just have it flat on the floor with 2 fans on it and just leave it overnight, which usually dries it out.
No, but that's great because, see, again, like I was saying with using a hair dryer, just blowing air, not blowing heat. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do, which is
Yeah.
taking a fan and just blowing a fan on it, not applying heat to it. Because if you apply heat to it, you're going to have your fur end up this matted, ugly mess. And that's why it's a great idea to make sure that you air dry things and literally you can use any fan out there as long as it's just using cool air. It's so that it doesn't trash your fur.
Yeah, and the only downside I know with washing it is because my washing machine's a 5 kilo max one, it overloads it, which is
Oh
the
yeah.
only problem. But now washing machine, as I found out, you can overload it to a point for the doors bulging out, and it will still wash your clothes fine.
Yeah.
Which is the only
The,
good thing about it is that them washing machines are built stronger than they look. But if a door's bulging out, that's pretty much the maximum you want it to be overloaded.
Exactly.
There's more than that, it's going to break.
Yeah. But yeah, the one that I always warn people on when washing a suit for the first time and why hand washing comes in such importance. If your suit maker has used a permanent marker or a
Airbrush.
airbrush or something like that to
It,
trace out the design on the foam before they cut it all out and put it together, and there's any remnant of that left on that foam,
it
the
will
first
bleed.
it will bleed like a son of a gun. And that's the one thing you have to do is watch out for the bleeding, because sometimes the bleeding can just be corrected by washing it again. And don't even try to chemically treat it, because if you do, it just spreads and it gets worse. And you're
And
better.
I've also noticed when you dry the suit, the best way to stop the fur from matting is to comb it with like a softer comb. Like I usually use plastic type combs on mine, which
What
are perfect for suits.
What I have found that actually worked really good for mine for so many years before it broke was I had one of these as seen on TV de-shedder combs, one of the dull ones with just the metal teeth on the end. They're not the sharp ones that pull hair. They're actually just the really nice flat dull teeth that you could just rub against fur, and it would actually comb it out and take any loose fur that had happened to fall out of its hole or anything on your suit out. And it did a wonderful job without damaging your suit. And they still make those. I do believe you can buy them at like as seen on TV stores. It's like a de-shedder or shed-ender or something weird like that. And it's really a cool tool for fursuiting because it will actually keep you fluffy, keep you safe, and keep your suit looking good.
And then on the next topic is, how would you try and repair your fursuit?
Well,
Just pretty much the same thing, really.
when it comes to repairing a suit, and the first thing that I always tell people to do, depending upon what your suit is sewed with, and depending upon what you're doing in your suit, will depend upon how you want to fix your suit. So, for example, if you're in a suit and you happen to know the tail end of your suit actually just split right up the butt, the best way to actually fix that a lot of times is not to use the cotton thread on a seam that is going around the backside of your body. The reason why is that if you're going to be sitting down a lot, that cotton thread will bend and stretch and snap. And when it
Yeah.
does, that's when you open up a seam, and that's when everybody gets to see you in your underwear. And that's not really going to help anybody. What I always like to do is I always like to use upholstery thread when if I'm doing a repair on somebody's suit. That includes like literally the rear of the suit because I know they're going to be sitting down or I know they're going to be dancing and they need a quick fix. This works great because it stays flexible, you can bend it, but it doesn't snap. I mean, I can literally just grab a huge chunk of this right now and pull,
Yeah.
and it doesn't snap, and it will cut me before it snaps.
I mean, I'm
And
guessing it's similar to fishing wire, I think it's called.
similar,
But
it's
I
still
wouldn't use fishing wire on the suit.
no. And this is just basically nylon. And for a seam like that, I'd recommend the nylon because you're going to be sitting down. If you're going to be dancing and moving around a lot, you want to darn well make sure the backside and the front side of your suit stays together because
Yeah.
that is the one position where you're going to be bending and moving a lot, and that's where you can blow a seam.
Like, I remember one furmate that I sat down on the park bench and all you heard was a rip, and it's completely ripped the seam between like the back of the thigh and the tail.
Yeah.
And what was bad about that was, well, one, it was in public, and
Ooh.
also my trousers were falling down underneath the suit, which made it even worse.
Oh.
So that was just a disaster. Fortunately, it was easy enough to fix, so it just stitch it back up pretty much.
So
Which
yeah,
usually on most of the stitching on my suits, it's cotton thread, but it's double stitched. Which,
yeah.
if you're doing cotton thread, it has to be double stitched.
Yeah, or it turns into a nightmare. It's the same thing with the nylon. The nylon, although it's tougher, you still do have to double stitch. The difference is it's tougher so that it's harder for it to come apart. So if you know that your fur naturally stretches,
Yeah,
then it's a great alternative. But if you know that your fur does not naturally stretch, don't use nylon because that will be the one kick in the pants for you if you use nylon and your fur doesn't stretch. Because if your fur doesn't stretch or bend or move a specific way, you will sit down and that nylon string will go right freaking through your fur before you even know it.
yeah. So basically, just rip it.
Yeah. And that's literally why the only time I will use nylon if I'm literally having to repair a suit on the fly and if I know that the person is going to be dancing or sitting and they need a quick solid emergency repair that's going to stay versus hi, I'm on stage, oh, I need to bend over and pick up a microphone, rip.
Yeah,
And it happens. That's the beauty of listening to people's different methods is that you listen to one fursuit creator do it their way, and then you can always improve on it and make it different. And most fursuiters and fursuit makers come up with some very innovative ways of fixing the seams and how to sew things together. I've seen
hmm,
so many people come up even with their own stitches. It's really fun.
yeah. And I know with stitching, I've done some stitching. I usually do like double thread, but like X kind of threading,
Yeah.
which I've usually found out is one of the stronger ways to do threading.
Well, one of the coolest things I figured out how to do was when I had to sew seams for one of my friend's suits. She ended up with a suit that was damaged, and it was damaged by the mail. And she was so afraid that she couldn't get it fixed, and the suit was totaled. And I was like, no, the suit isn't totaled. We can sew it back together. We can put it back together. We can make it right. And it just gets interesting when you start listening to how you figure out a different stitch. And the first thing I was just thinking was, well, it's a small enough hole. There's enough material there. Thank the Lord on that one. I am so grateful for fursuit makers that leave a little bit of extra material inside a seam because it makes for repairing a suit a godsend so
Yeah,
much. And you literally just cross stitch it. And that was the funniest thing is that this little hole in this suit was nowhere near her movement. It was nowhere near her chest where ooh,
oh
keyboard.
no.
No, it's okay. It's just a keyboard tray. It actually moves on my desk. It's usually tied up. I don't have it tied right now. That's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, so what's funny is that like if I'm working with a female suitor, the first thing is I would never use the cross stitch around their chest because things have got to move. I'm sorry, ladies have boobs, they move. Okay,
Yeah,
if you use that cross stitch there and they move in incorrect direction and that weight from their chest moves to one side, they can literally just blow a seam to kingdom come. The good thing was is that her hole was below her chest, so it was in between her chest and her waist, perfect spot to fix it, and it was perfect to fix it right there with a cross stitch. And that's what I did. I just did a basic cross stitch right across it, stitched it all up. Dang thing is still on that suit today, no problems. And I used my nylon with that one because I knew that she wanted it to stay. I knew she didn't want to have to send the suit all the way back and have it fixed that way. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that. When you want to save money, you gotta save money.
yeah. I mean, one stitch I know that's notorious to go on my old suit is the armpits.
Oh yes, the old armpit stitch. Yeah, there's a few that go, and the reason it goes is they usually tighten it just a little bit too tight right by the armpit. That's why I always tell people loose armpit when making a suit, because if you loose the armpit just a little, then you've got that flexible motion and your armpit doesn't fail.
Yeah,
And if it's dead tight, and the first time you decide to go, oh gosh, I'm tired, stretch, rip, and there it goes. And that's all you'd have to do is just stretch your arms out and goodbye.
yeah,
And, and it happens because the idea is keep it loose underneath so that your arm can move and flex and bend because you're not a brick wall. You move, you dance.
yeah,
You walk down a con floor and go, "Hi, how are you today? Would you like a picture?"
yeah,
That's literally what you have to think of if how you're suiting, when you're suiting, what your idea of suiting is. Because, for example, if I'm going to be suiting out in public, my feet have to have shoes on. So that's what I did. I built a set of shoes. And I built these shoes basically to be bulletproof almost. And they've always worked and served me well. And it's kind of those things like when you're out in public and you don't want to repair your feet or you don't want to repair your paws, take care of them. Literally, learn how to sew, learn how to add modifications you want to your suit. Learn these things. Try these tactics out. Try new things. And don't just think that because a suit maker says it's right to only do it this way, that it's the correct way. The idea of it is this is what they do and why they do it, and everybody has a different opinion in the fandom on how to do things. It doesn't mean it's right, it doesn't mean it's wrong, it just means we all do things a little different.
Yeah. I'm just checking the time, and I just say it might be good to end it, but it's 28 minutes on there.
Yeah, I think we're doing pretty darn good for this topic. I think that's pretty much a good stopping point, because we did cover a lot of stuff, ladies and gentlemen, and I am so glad Peaches here invited me to do this,
Yeah.
because it's always fun to talk to furs from other countries, other continents, learning from other people. In my spare time, I'm a part of a lot of different groups on Telegram, and they're from different countries, and there's a lot of splinter cells that are in other countries that are basically furries that don't go to meets, that are their own group because they've had things happen to them that they just decided it was better to leave mainstream fandom and create their own group. And
Yeah.
and it's just this just amazing place of coming together and sharing ideas and coming together and having amazing fun with everybody, and that's what we do.
Yeah. And I'm guessing on that, Munchel, thanks for watching this podcast. Please like and subscribe if you're new, and check out Dingo Fox in the description.
Yep, you can easily find me by John minus Dingo Fox. Or if you have an issue of finding me, the only video that you pretty muchly have to look for is FNAF at Sakurcon. That's SAKURACON. Totally awesome. If you just find that video, you'll find my channel, because that is my viral video that everybody finds me with.
Yeah. And this is Peaches signing out.
Peace out, everybody.
Stars under the stars.